color my brand new coloring page with me. I recently played this game called Minami Lane, and I was inspired to create this whimsical Toy Shop Tales coloring page, which I've spent a total of like 16 hours just to line and sketch everything. It is just insane. So I've created this most complex coloring page. It has a lot of plants, a lot of characters, animals, and decoration. It has a lot of Japanese typography and lots of whimsical curiosities. And I want to paint this charming little page together with you. So in order to join me in this fun little 3-day adventure, you can download the coloring page from the link here or in the description below. And at the end of today's video, I'll reveal today's progress as well. But before we begin, there is actually something very important. We are actually going to use the watercolor brush pack for this project, and I have a brand new update for this brush pack. So I've already sent out emails for everyone to download the update already if they have purchased this or downloaded it before. So make sure to check your emails and get the update. It's a huge difference, guys. So when you have downloaded the file, if you open the project, you will see something like this. You will see that there is a sketch layer that's already locked, and the paper is already right here in the bottom. So the sketch is divided into normal sketch and also the typography. Then there is a group called color inside. You're gonna color inside this group, and when you turn it on, you're gonna see all these grays. So they're gonna be made of a layer where you can color and a layer mask above it. So all the layer masks, you are not to touch it. I'm gonna lock every single one and you're not to touch it. You are just going to paint in the gray layers. So we're gonna start painting from the bottom all the way to the top. So now we're gonna begin coloring by picking background 2, and onto this layer I'm gonna just select white and drop onto this layer. The coloring layers are already set to multiply blending mode, so you can begin painting already. Using the color palette that is provided, I'm gonna pick the lightest blue, then go over to my brush pack and pick the Superstar Wash and paint the sky in. For blending, I like to set the smudge tool to the bleeding wash brush in order to blend, and I can use that to create some clouds in the sky. Now using the Superstar brush, I'm gonna pick some light purple and fill in the rest of the layer first. Using the blues, I'm going to paint the floor a little bit, but you should try and familiarize yourself and see what this layer contains first. So this layer only contains a simple small part of the background. And all we are doing right now is to drop in like washes using the Superstar brush and the Superstar wash brush and the bleeding wash brush in order to drop in some colors so that we can identify this layer easier. So we're going to go back to this layer afterwards once we are deeper into the progress in order to add more shadows. So don't worry so much about what you are painting right now and just focus on understanding what's on this layer first. And because every layer has its own layer mask, you don't really have to outline everything properly anymore. It's all been done for you already. All you have to do is just enjoy and have fun coloring within each layer itself, and the first layer is done. Previously in the version 1 brush, whenever you overlay new colors, you can't blend, it will just overlay like this. So now with the version 2 brush, you can press softly to blend your colors, and this brush itself has an increased overall opacity. Now let's move to background 1. So by selecting background 1, now I'm going to pick a color and just drop onto the layer. So by dropping a color, I can easily identify what I need to paint for each new layer. Also, I will be able to see easily what I missed before in the previous layer. So right now, I'm just going to go back to the previous layer and filling in some blanks that I've missed before. Whenever I'm ready, I am just going to go back to background 1, our current layer, to start working on this new layer. So this layer consists mostly of shadow shapes except the shape on the floor, which is the main light shape. So I'm just going to overlay some colors, and then using salt, I'm going to overlay some bright colors into the shadow shape of the shop. I mix and match different colors and different brushes to get different effects and textures on this area. When I'm ready to go into some detailing, I will always use the Well-Behaved brush. And using this brush, I'm gonna just quickly carve out some shapes in order to give some definition to the shadow. Because we're working quite early in the painting stage for the background, we don't have to be very detailed first. We can always fill in the details later on. It's not a good idea to give a lot of detail to backgrounds or areas that don't require detail. The most important thing to do is to identify the correct color for that location first. There are two new brushes in the version 2 brush pack. So the brush that you should be looking for is called the Solid Coloring Brush, and you can easily achieve opacity by layering just twice. So these are good to fill up areas with one color first before proceeding to other washes. So this is the demonstration for the Solid Coloring Brush. Just 2 times is enough to get you the opacity that you want to cover up another color. So you can use this to your advantage. All the shadows are mostly in purples or blues. So if you are finding colors to paint the shadow colors first, which is the purple. Find the right shade of value. Then after that, you can overlay the object color over purples. When you're working in this manner of overlaying multiple colors over each other, it's good to use the bleeding brushes. So you can use bleeding liners or bleeding wash. So today is all about getting acquainted with the brushes and to find out which brushes to use for what purpose. But one thing's for sure, in your smudge tool, it will be the bleeding wash brush that is equipped, and in your eraser tool, it's the eraser and white bloom brush equipped. So for the dual color brush, you get to pick 2 colors and paint it, but in the previous version, it goes on randomly. Now in version 2, when you press harder, you change color, and when you let go of the pressure, it goes back to the color that is being picked right now. Now let's go over the different types of brushes that you can utilize for different purposes. First, let's look at brushes that can do overlays. So overlays meaning you can keep on overlaying color after color and they'll be just like transparent optical glazes of color. So for this, you can use bleeding wash, Well-Behaved brush, and if you're doing details, you can use bleeding liner and wet liner. With these brushes, you want to stay loose and don't press too hard with your Apple Pencil. Now if you're looking to do some solid coloring, just flat color, you would use the Solid Coloring brush. But if you want to have high opacity and also being able to blend at the same time, you would use the Superstar brush. Now I want to talk a little bit about using the colors. If you find that you need a darker or brighter color, when you are picking a new color, try to go to the square swatch and then move diagonally instead of horizontally or vertically. So like right now, I'm moving diagonally down to get a darker swatch of orange. Picking colors diagonally will ensure that you won't end up with chalky colors. Remember to use the eraser and white bloom in your paint tool instead of your eraser tool when you're looking to do like white lines or bleeds on the coloring page. I'll cover bleeds more extensively tomorrow, where we talk about getting bleeds with other colors and also different types of brushes. Such as what I'm doing right now, I'm actually creating like white bleeds on the curtains. And finally, when you're looking to do details or lines like this, you should use the liner brushes. So liner brushes are brushes that are available in way smaller brush sizes. In this coloring page, I used the bleeding liner whenever I need to do details that are really small and I still need to paint small details. I use the wet liner whenever I am just doing flats that are small in size. And then finally, I use the Well-Behaved liner if I'm doing really tiny details. For now, I want you to just experiment on the brushes and the colors and give a good base for today for these 3 layers before we proceed to the next layers for the next 2 days. Now I'm going to share a couple of techniques or workflows that you can use in this coloring page for today especially. So the first one would be to do it in stages from washes to details like this. Next, we have the lazy workflow. For the lazy workflow, you would just use the solid coloring brush and keep layering colors, then just change to the smudge tool to clean up the drawing. If you're wondering like which color should you start with first, I would advise you to start with the gray color first. Then after that, only overlay the vibrant color. Like you see, I did the browns first. Then I'm doing the vibrant greens and the yellows a little bit, so that whatever that you want to stay on top and show better, that should be your last colors. Okay guys, thank you so much for enjoying today's video with me and coloring with me all the way to the end. I'll see you tomorrow for day 2 of this adventure, and I hope that you're enjoying the coloring page as much as I do. I sure did love getting back into watercolors again in Procreate. So if you haven't already, remember to download the new update for the watercolor brush pack, and I'll see you tomorrow. Remember to subscribe, comment and like. Bye!